Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a video that I mentioned to you guys when I hauled the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette that I wanted to share with you guys. Palettes that were similar in my collection that if you planned on skipping out on this specific palette, I wanted to share with you guys other palettes that you may or may not have or may consider getting instead of this one. But first, if you are new to my channel, welcome to the family. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you do like it, and let's get on with the palettes that I want to share with you guys. Obviously, first off, let me just get it out of the way. Yes, I chopped my hair off again. This is not how my hair normally looks. I am literally on the 5th day of a heat wave and the humidity is ridiculous where I live. So it is so hot and humid that my hair will not stay straight. I have mentioned to you guys on Snappy Chappy that my hair has a natural beachy wave to it. That beachy wave that everyone tries to achieve. I naturally have it in my hair. So that is what's going on with my hair today. But as you guys can see, it is very short this time. My hair grows super fast, as you guys can tell. From the first time I filmed to 6 weeks later, the haircut was completely gone. So I figured let me chop it off for the end of the year, of the summer, and then let it grow back in stages and enjoy the growth of my hair. So let's just, now that that's out of the way, let's get on with the actual video that I have for you guys. So here is the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. You guys have seen this all around YouTube. I have been wearing this and I really like it. I'm going to explain to you guys why this one is by far my favorite Urban Decay Naked palette before I get into the other palettes. If you have poop dark brown eyes, like seriously dark brown eyes, the majority of us that have really dark brown eyes, if you ever go into the sun and let the sun kind of reflect through your eyes, you can see that you have a red undertone to your eyes. At least I know through my eyes, all my family members' eyes that are super dark, and most of my kids' eyes, because not all of them have super dark eyes. But for the most part, every time I see my kids' eyes through the sun, I see a red undertone. And if you have been following me for a while, you guys have heard that the Modern Renaissance palette has a color called Red Ochre that is my all-time favorite eyeshadow color in that palette because it is a red undertone palette, a red undertoned shadow. Now, you have to be careful with red shadows, obviously, because it can make you look tired, but if you have a brown shift to it, it makes dark, super dark brown eyes stand out. I absolutely love this palette for this reason. These eyeshadows in here is what makes my brown eyes pop. Looking up close to my eyes, you can really see them light. I have never ever have had a palette with these types of colors unless I make it myself, obviously through a Z palette single shadows or just picking and choosing from different palettes. I can get this look. I love this one. This one by far has the best pigmentation, the best type of formula of shadows that Urban Decay has come out with this series. So I really like this one a lot. I was very surprised at how pigmented and how smooth and how blendable this one was compared to the other ones. Obviously, Urban Decay has been around so long with the Naked series that there has been a lot of companies have come out with far better shadows than their original Naked, their second one, their third. So this one, they stepped up their game and it went up to par with those other eyeshadows that have been out in the market. So personally for me, I really like this one. This one is definitely my favorite out of all four of them. This just makes my brown eyes pop. See, I can't stop staring at my eyes. I'm kid you not, through the mirror because I cannot believe how light my eyes look. I have never been able to achieve a very light brown eye type of look. Like how to, you know how you see those, how to make your brown eyes pop, but they have like honey color brown, or they have light brown eyes, or they have like hazel brownish eyes. They don't have poop dark black brown eyes. This is going to be your best friend if you have that type of eye color. I cannot say that enough. I mentioned it with the red ochre color in the Anastasia palette, Modern Renaissance, that is the reason why I specifically love that palette, because it had those tones in it and that red color just looked gorgeous every time I wear it all over the lid. I love that shadow. So this definitely gives me a 2 thumbs up, but I know that not everyone can afford this or is a fan of the Urban Decay shadow formula, but I feel like this one is definitely a lot better. So I have other options here for you guys. I have some drugstore options, some affordable options. The majority of the options in here are less than this one. This one I'm pretty sure is $54. All the palettes that I will be sharing with you guys today are under $54. So if you are on a budget, I kind of have everything in here where you can make the look similar to this Urban Decay Naked palette. The first one is the Modern Renaissance palette from Anastasia. You guys knew that this was coming. Here is the red ochre shade that I have been constantly raving about. Super pigmented. Love to put this all over my lid, and I am amazed. I love it. I blend it into the crease and I am good to go. It makes my brown eyes pop and I absolutely love that color. This one is super close as far as some shades to the Urban Decay Heat palette. It is not definitely a complete dupe, but as you guys can see, you can get a similar look for a cheaper price. I believe this one is $44 or $42. I will put all the prices of each of the palettes up on the screen so you guys are well aware of the prices. But as you guys can see, very similar with the exception of maybe that pink one, the Love Letter, Venetian Red, I think it's called. Venetian Red is the other one that's probably a little bit out there. But as far as everything else, and this one right here, this mauve color, I feel like you do get a very similar shade. So if you do have the Modern Renaissance, you don't really need this one. All you need to really do is just find some warm shades. Cocoa Bear from Makeup Geek. You have Inglot single shadows. You have drugstore single shadows that you can pull in so you don't need to go and splurge on this one. So that is my first one that is super similar that you may already own in your collection, and you do not need the Naked Heat palette. The next one that I do have is a drugstore one. This is the NYX Ultimate Warm Neutrals palette. This I recently mentioned to you guys in my Worth It or Worthless that I thought this was a pretty good palette for the drugstore, and as you guys can see, you get very similar colors in the Urban Decay Naked palette. I will mention that some of these shimmery shades in the NYX one is a bit chalky and chunky, but I mentioned to you guys that if you use a glitter glue, a nice wet base as far as maybe a cream shadow, or wet the actual eyeshadows, it will perform nicely on the lids. But if you're on a budget, this one I'm pretty sure is $18, $54, and you almost get every color that is mentioned in here. Super similar looks. You probably will not be able to tell the difference between these two on your eyes, and I feel like the mattes in here perform pretty good for a drugstore palette. So this is my second one that I would recommend if you don't want to purchase this. This is a good one to go with. This next one is new to my collection. This is the NYX Perfect Filter Palettes in Rustic Antique, if I can only talk. This one is a brand new to my collection. I just recently picked this up, so I haven't really played with this one, but I have heard non-stop amazing things about this specific line from NYX. These are new to NYX's line as far as eyeshadows go, and this one I've heard nothing but great things. As you guys can tell, you get very similar shades in this one. You do get quite a few that you can duplicate. In this one in particular, I do see you get a very dark brown that is not as red toned as the one in here, but it looks like you do get pretty good ones. Now, I'm not going to stamp my 100% approval on this because I personally have not used this one yet. I just got it, but I really like this one to go with this one, compared these two, and I'm thinking this one cost me like 15 bucks. I don't remember how much this one is. You don't get as much shadows as you do in the Urban Decay Naked Heat, but as you can tell, it is basically almost in the same family. So I can see that you can get the same type of looks with these, with the exception of maybe one or two shades, but it is very similar. And if you're on a budget, these I've heard are amazing. If you look up reviews on these, I've heard nothing but good things about these. NYX has gotten really good with their eyeshadows, and I'm very happy that I got this. So I'm curious to play with it and get back to you guys on a Worth It or Worthless to really know if this is worth it. But this is very similar, so if you do have this one, you don't need this one. The next one that I have for you guys is the Violet Voss Holy Grail palette. This palette is $45, and you guys can tell that it is an amazing palette. I love the formula of Violet Voss. They're very soft, remind me of the Lorac Pro palettes. Very soft, very blendable. They are very, very pigmented, and you do get a really nice variety of color. This is $45, $54, and you get very similar shades in this one as well. So you guys can get a nice look, a similar look to this, with the exception of maybe in this one you get more red pinky undertones than you do get bronzy red tones. But as far as the mattes go, as far as the most of the shimmer shades, I would say you do get very, very similar ones. I feel like with this one though, you don't get too much product per shadow because they're so pigmented. You don't need a lot, but it doesn't really have too much in the palette. You guys can see I hit pan on this one already, and it's not really that deep. So I do like these. This is cheaper than this one. You also get a mirror with this one, and this one's a lot less as far as weight, and you do get a really nice mirror. So this is another option I would recommend if you do not want to get the Urban Decay Heat palette. And the last one is no surprise. It is the Morphe 350 palette. As you guys can tell, super, super similar shades. You get a lot more in the 350 for $23. And here is the comparison for both of them. I feel like you do get almost every single shade you do really need that comes in the Urban Decay Naked Heat, with the exception of obviously Morphe has hits or misses shadows in their palettes. Not every single one is a really nice blendable shadow, but you do get very similar shades. So if you want more of a variety, if you want more of that red orangey undertones, I would go with a 350. It's a lot cheaper than it is the Urban Decay, but as you guys can tell, very, very similar, and I'm sure there's dupable shades in this one. I also wanted to mention to you guys a really good liner that goes with all of these palettes if you do really want to make your eyes pop even more. This is a drugstore liner. This is the NYX Golden, or it's the NYX Slide On Glide On Stay On Indefinitely a Turn On Waterproof Eyeliner. This is in the color Golden Bronze. I wanted to share this with you guys just in case you are looking for a eyeliner to put in your waterline that is not super red and makes you look like you're tired. This is a gorgeous one. This is what I'm wearing on my waterline today, and it is beautiful. It goes perfect with any of the palettes that I am sharing with you guys today, or that I have shared with you guys today. So if you're interested in a liner that goes perfectly with all those palettes, Golden Bronze by NYX. So there you go, guys. Those are the palettes that I have been able to find in my collection that is very, very close to the Urban Decay Naked Heat. Personally, I do love the Naked Heat. I think that is by far my favorite one, like I had mentioned, so I will definitely continue to use it. I love it. I think I even will use it all the way into the fall, because not only is it a summer palette, but I feel like it'll also transition really nicely into the fall. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will link all of the palettes down in the description box and their prices, so you guys are aware of which ones you can check out. If you do have any other palettes that you would consider that are very close to the Naked Heat that I did not mention or I do not own in my collection, please leave them down in the comment section so everyone else can see, just in case these are not somebody's preference and maybe you might have something better. So thank you guys again for watching. I will catch you guys in my next video, and don't forget that a smile is the best makeup a girl can wear. Bye, guys.